Hi everyone, welcome back to this channel. I just got back from a vacation a couple of days ago. Today we're gonna talk about what's in my camera bag and what I use when I travel. And you're gonna notice that it's really simple and I value portability. Now, obviously, the first thing is my camera. I personally use the Sony A6700 and I just switched to this camera, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago? I don't remember. And I used to use the Fujifilm X-T4. This camera, it's not a full frame camera, so it does crop in your focal length. So if you're on 18, maybe it becomes, I don't know, 24, 27, something like that. And the thing with this camera is that it has a lot of settings. At the end of this video, I will put on sample images so you can notice what I was able to capture with this setup here. There's a lot of settings to play around with. Personally, I use aperture priority, which I've talked about before. So the camera decides the lowest ISO I'm letting the camera to use, and also the highest, and same thing with the shutter speed. So the lowest and the highest shutter speed, which I've talked about before. But I decide the aperture, and usually I'm around, I think the fastest I've used is 2.8, and the lowest I've used is probably 8, I think, I'm not sure. But what I love about this lens, which is the Sigma 18-50, is that you can play around with a lot of focal lengths because this is a zoom lens. Now you can argue that one downside is that if you want to fix a picture, like before you take a picture, you can just zoom in if you don't like the framing or whatever. But a solution to that is that you decide for yourself that I'm gonna only use 18 this day or 24 or whatever. Anyway, the thing with prime lenses is that they have a reputation that they have better glass, even if they only have one focal length. So when you buy a prime lens, maybe you want, I don't know, a 35 focal length. And you buy that prime lens and you only have that focal length to play around with. I value zoom lenses because I move around a lot and I want to play around with basically what kind of image I can compose. So this is the camera. Now I use 3 batteries, one inside the camera, a charger. This is Jupio. I'm not that familiar with this brand, to be honest. 2 backup batteries. And I do have a cable for it. And also I use an adapter. Actually, I have 2 adapters here. So in this camera, I do have an SD card. It only has place for 1, which I think is kind of weird. I would love to have a backup SD card slot. And I would recommend you to have a backup SD card. Now, I have my backup SD card in my Fujifilm X-T4. This is basically it. Like, this is all I need to take good pictures. I'm on my photography journey, so I'm not a professional. But my goal is to grow as a photographer. So, when I was on this vacation, I didn't have a laptop with me. And I had to get the pictures to my phone somehow. Now, a way you can do this is use the Sony Creators app. And it looks like this. And then you just can press import and you follow the steps here. Now you need a cable, a USB-C cable, or probably if if you have an old iPhone. I haven't tried that. You can probably use a lighting to USB-C cable and transfer the pictures that way. Now, I didn't find a way to transfer raw images, so all my images was in JPEG. Well, after I transferred all those images, I used Lightroom Mobile and I did my edits. And I'm still learning how to edit. And I remember that I felt that my first days with this setup, like when I was editing the images, that they weren't that great, the editing. So after a couple of days, I kind of got better at it. I think there's a lot to learn when it comes to editing. And I think that I make some weird choices, even if it does get better. But yeah, so you just import the images and then I edit them this way. So here's an example. But like I said before, at the end of this video, I'm gonna show some sample images. Also, maybe you noticed that I don't use a tripod, so all my shots are handheld. I value portability than having a tripod with me. For now, that is. Maybe when I've gotten better, I will start appreciate the tripod more. But right now, I shoot all handheld because I want to be fast. Like if I find something interesting, I just want to go out, shoot it, and edit it later to see basically what kind of picture I took. So yeah, this was just a fast one. I haven't had much time to upload a video this week, so this is why this video is really late. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. And you will see the sample images after this. Bye.